I mentioned that I didn't think that the Republican Party as a whole, not voters, but the party, the politicians, the movers and the shakers of the Republican Party, why I didn't think they would be necessarily coming to his aid and why courts would actually overturn anything for him. And I mentioned that that's because they actually like Joe Biden better than they like him. Now let's get into detail why. Trump, pre-election, proposes a bailout, or not, I don't know if you call it bailout, but like a stimulus, right? Has another round of stimulus checks and money for this and money for that, blah, 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 blah. What was their response from Nancy Pelosi?
Well, it just doesn't do enough. It just doesn't do enough. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Well, ma'am, Ro Khanna says people need help right now.
Well, that Ro Khanna, that's nice. That's nice. Andrew Yang, that's nice. But we feed these people. We know what they need. We're not gonna do that right now.
The narcissist herself refused to vote and pass a stimulus bill for the country just so Donald Trump could get his name on a check and because it didn't have enough in it. Remember that? I remember that. Here's what's ironic. Post-election, the House Problem Solvers Caucus, the bipartisan group, when you hear that, you know there's a real good rape coming your way thanks to people on Capitol Hill. The sodomization will be real when you know you got bipartisan efforts coming your way. You might as well expect that. They put forward their own stimulus. What's Pelosi's response? I'm good with it. Let's do it. Let's pass it. Let's get some help to the American people. Chuck Schumer, same thing. Oh, and Joe Biden has embraced it too, right? Okay, what's the problem? That's good news, right? Nope. It covers less than what Trump had proposed. I thought it didn't cover enough, Nancy. Negative Nancy. I thought it didn't cover enough. I thought there wasn't enough in that stimulus for you to vote on it. But now you're endorsing the bipartisan one that covers even less? Why people keep voting for Democrats and Republicans is beyond me. In a way, I can understand because mainstream media is not going to tell you this kind of thing, but for God's sake, how lazy are we as a society to not look into this kind of stuff? To me, it makes me sad to think of my country and the fact that people don't do enough research to learn this kind of thing and stop voting for them. And for all the lefties out there who might be watching this video, just remember one thing, all your lefty Congress people, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Ilhan Omar, the squad, Ro Khanna, they'll be voting for her to be speaker again. How you feel about that? You're getting screwed over again. They'll vote for her. So why did I say that the Republicans like Joe Biden more than they like Donald Trump? That's a smaller stimulus bill, right? What's the big Republican talking point? How you going to pay for it? How you going to pay for it? Cost too much, 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 cost too much. What's Joe Biden had a record of doing? Well, we got to find a way to pay for it, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. How you going to pay for it? Give me a break. Cut the deal with the Republicans. Meanwhile, Trump over here, he's not Mitt Romney and he's not George Bush in the terms of this kind of thing. In some ways, he is kind of to the left. He didn't nearly do enough stuff on the left that I hoped he was going to do in that regard, but no, he without a doubt has made the Republicans take the knee on all this spending mess. Their entire message that they've been running on about deficits and crap went out the door. And they don't like that. And here's Joe Biden, who allows them to go right back into the cost message. We can't pay for it. Yeah, you're suffering. You're this and you're that. We can't pay for it. We can't pay for it. Well, why can't you pay for it? We don't have enough money. Why don't you have enough money? What they won't tell you is because we're spending it on war. We have people to bomb and kill, so you are fucked. You're out of luck. Period. You know why? Because you don't have oil and natural resources, and they do, and we want it. And you know how I know that's what they think? Because Joe Biden just appointed Neera. What's so great about that, or rather, what's so terrible about that? Neera floated the idea herself. We have deficits. Libya has oil. Let's take the shit. Now, Trump floated a similar concept, mind you. Trump floated a similar concept. I thought when Trump said it, he was a racist, well, not misogynist in this case, but a racist bigot. But Neera, nope, common sense. It's common sense. She ought to be a 5-star general. She knows how to plan war and battle so well. She's strategic. She got to be a descendant of Patton, right? That's what Joe Biden's putting in his cabinet. You know who that makes happy? Republicans. Not the Trump Republicans. No. The Mitt Romney Republicans, the Dick Cheney Republicans, the George Bush Republicans. All those Republicans. All the war hawks. Oh, a lot of whom Trump put around him, by the way. So again, if Trump's being the victim of a screwed election, what did you do to be a true outsider, man? You swam around in the deep end of the swamp, and now you drowned in it. What'd you think was going to happen? That's why I got off that Trump train quite a while back. So, you look at these figures. Joe Biden's appointing to his administration. Remember what Trump's message was, right? If Biden and Kamala win, we're doomed to become a socialist country. Well, Joe Biden already said he would veto Medicare for all, so take that off your list. That ain't going to happen, whether you want it to or not. Not going to happen. Anybody like Bernie or Elizabeth Warren getting appointed to any positions? That ain't happening either, because we need you in the Senate for your vote. Even though in Bernie's case, Vermont said, we will put someone in your seat that'll be similar to your view. He's already got the assurance. Biden won't give him a position. He won't give him a position. He's going to appoint corporate stooges and war hawks. And he's already well on his way to doing it. Oh, they'll be diverse. Some will be men, some will be women, some will be white, some will be black. There might be a Latino. Could even be an Asian before it's all said and done. But what their skin color or their sexual orientation is makes not a damn bit of difference, or their gender. None of it will make a damn difference. Because as far as their philosophy goes, they're going to be corporate sellouts and war hawks. Period. So why will the Republicans not save Trump's skin and back him in any of this and try to keep it? Number one, because they realize the way the media is already covered. See, the media is in on the whole thing too. You're not going to convince me the media is not in cahoots with a deep state out there. They've got to be. They've got to be. They're pushing the message. They know what's going to happen here. Trump can sing his concerns and shout them from the mountaintops, as we say in the South, he can do it till the cows come home. It's going to make no difference at all. They're not going to back him because in Joe Biden, they have a counterpart who may have a D after his name, but he does what their donors want done. He does what the status quo wants done, and therefore they're more in line with him than they are with Trump because of Trump's rhetoric and Trump's mouth. And for people who don't see that, I'm sorry. You need to examine the corruption of your government a little bit deeper, because they are corrupt to the core. I've said this before. As a matter of fact, I said it a lot on Big Talk, Little Talk at the time when my good buddy Israel, and by the way, when I'm talking about the people who voted for Trump and are all up in arms, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear. One of the YouTubers that I'm not throwing any shade at would be Israel. You know why? Because Israel was always up front that he used to be Republican, and Israel never endorsed any presidential candidate until he finally endorsed Donald Trump. He didn't flip around to multiple parties. He never said who he was going to vote for. So if he thought he'd rather... I got my disagreement. I don't agree that voting for Trump was the best idea. Me and him can disagree on that. I respect him for at least not coming across two-faced. I respect him. But as I told him before he said he would vote for Trump, when he would play devil's advocate on his show all the time and try to defend Joe Biden about how lefties are going to pull Joe Biden to the left. I said this a lot on his program. If you go, I think he deleted a bunch of the videos, but if he didn't, and you go back and you watch them, you'll see where I say on there, money talks and bullshit walks. All these lefties wants don't pay his bank account. You know who does? The donors. Not grassroots. Big money. Wall Street. DOD. Big Pharma. They bought and sold that old decrepit motherfucker a long time ago. And they're just continuing to do more of it. There's not a chance in hell that a good-hearted lefty or libertarian or righty or whatever you want to call them is going to come along just with a message out of the goodness of their heart. That was my criticism for all the Tulsi people who were like, well, I might vote for Joe Biden if he would put her in his cabinet. And I'm like, you fool. If he put her in his cabinet, it would be for no other reason just to get you to be a sucker and vote for him. He wouldn't listen to one damn good idea she proposed. Aloha will win everything. Bullshit. Aloha ain't got no money coming with it. You know what does? Fat cats on Wall Street. And look, I mean, if you judged their body weight by the size of their bank account, that's why they're called fat cats. The only similarity they're going to have with Aloha is the fact that they're going to look like they have consumed a lot of Hawaiian barbecue in their time. Because they're going to be some big old fat rotund motherfuckers. That's who he's going to listen to. Not Tulsi, not Yang, not Bernie. Nope. They don't have the financial backing to get his ear. Anything he does with them, kabuki theater, smoke and mirror, to play you the voter as a fool, thinking you will vote for him because I'm listening to your candidate. Maybe I'll pass something. Maybe I'll get us out of war. Huh? Maybe I'll put Tulsi in my cabinet. Huh? And then he gets elected and doesn't do shit for you. Who does he work with? Republicans. Who does he try to please? Republicans. So again, that's why the Republicans like him over Trump. Because Trump don't give a damn. Trump has tried, I think maybe it's strategical reasons or whatever, to work with these Republicans so they would support him because they were so anti-Trump when he ran. So maybe he thought I got to humor them because I'm in their party, so they'll work with me and get some things done. So maybe we have a compromise. You do a little what I want, I'll tow a little bit of your status quo bullshit along, but how well is that working for him now? It worked out the same way when Bernie kissed Hillary and Biden's ass. It worked out for him. People turned on him. And now, Trump, rigging or just because of lack of popularity, didn't win this election. And the Republicans aren't going to come to his aid because they'd rather have Joe Biden at the end of the day. That's how dirty and corrupt the government is. Anyone who's just failing to realize that, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you, but that's the way it is. So you might as well start looking for it. So that's my prediction. My previous video shows what they found in Georgia, and even if Georgia gets something overturned, I don't see that many other states doing it to the point that Trump could somehow keep the presidency. I don't see it happening. I know there's a lot of people out there who disagree with me, but hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm only human. It's very possible I could be wrong, but I just don't see it happening. If it doesn't happen, as I said in my previous video, I believe it's irony, but this is why I don't believe they're going to have his back, because Joe Biden is very much in line with the corporate donors that they both chair, and he's going to do what they want. He's going to govern the way corporate Republicans and corporate Dems want. Proof of that, this new stimulus proposal. Less than the one Trump pitched that Pelosi wouldn't back because it didn't have enough to it. Now they're bipartisanly backing one with even less to it. So, as I said, going into this election, it's going to be a nice, stinky, smelly brown wave from 2020 on through 2024. So I suggest people seriously, just wake up. Wake up. Get your head out of your rear in this idea that Republicans and Democrats are somehow going to flip a switch on either party one day and start doing the right thing. They're not. You're not going to get a change until you start voting for someone outside of that two-party duopoly, two-party dictatorship. Okay? Until you get out of that matrix, okay? Until you unplug yourself from that system, okay? You're done. You're done. You're not going to get anything accomplished. It's not going to happen. Oh, they'll try to BS you again and tell you something's going to happen. It's not. It's not. And for all the third parties out there, you need to quit sitting on your hands and quit treating your little meetings like social gatherings like I have at my lodge, and start realizing you need to be doing something to seriously take this country back. And that, whether that be MPP, whether that be the Libertarians have the best chance at the ballot access. Somebody needs to get off their ass and get some skin in the game and get serious about this big time. We need to see more congressional candidates in the 50 states. We need to see more Senate candidates. We need to see more people running for governor and mayor. You know, when I went to vote, I voted for Bill Bledsoe as opposed to Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham. And he'd already dropped out and endorsed Lindsey Graham. You know why I had to vote for Bill Bledsoe? Because he was the only other third-party person on my ballot in South Carolina. The Libertarian Party, who had the ballot access in all 50 states, couldn't even get a ground game together to run a Senate candidate in South Carolina. Couldn't even get it done. And the Constitution Party is a smaller, that's Bill Bledsoe, is a smaller party than Libertarians. Libertarians had the ballot access and couldn't even get someone on the damn ballot. That's a shame. That's a shame. They damn well should have had somebody on the ballot here in South Carolina other than Joe Jorgensen. And they may have had a couple of other positions. They may have. But, I went in and just hit straight Libertarian ticket. And, of course, I had to pick and choose from all the ones Libertarians weren't on the ticket for. So, that being said, you need to step it up. And understand, 2024, you could get a president that's Democrat or Republican again. You need to start thinking about this as a chess game here, people, not checkers. It ain't about getting the king. Okay, it's not about just how many kings you can get on the board like president, right? No, you need to chip away at the ground game. Chip away at the power structure in the House and the Senate. Chip away at the local government. Start taking their structure apart. And the problem at this point is going to be if, in fact, there was fraud and rigging, that's going to really be anti-productive to getting people to vote for third party because they're going to feel there's not a chance in hell they could actually win anything because it's completely rigged and screwed up. That's the downside to all this, and that's why I said that at this point there may not be any putting this toothpaste back in the tube. It may end up coming to violence. It may end up coming to a war between ourselves because too many people watched what was going on around them, did nothing about it, sat on their hands, and now everybody at once, as we're in the fourth quarter with 10 seconds on the clock, gets pissed off and wants to play ball. Meanwhile, the other team has been scoring against the American people touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, and we hadn't even attempted to kick a field goal in return. And now you want to play ball. A little late in the game. A little late in the game. Is it impossible? Never say never. But it's looking more and more and more unlikely. And that's the fearful thing. So, something to keep in mind. But if you third parties or any other independents don't want to see that happen, because I don't want to see that happen. I don't want that kind of violence to come about. I think there's a better way. Whether it's possible, I don't know. I would hope so. But in order for us to even have a chance, these people behind these third parties are going to have to get deathly serious. Because we're getting down to life or death at this point. We really are. Either our country's going to survive or it's about to crumble. And if they really are serious about getting someone other than Democrats and Republicans, and that's why they choose to run in the first place, the parties as a whole need to quit sitting on their hands and start acting. They really do. They really do. Otherwise, we are absolutely doomed to keep electing the best of two idiots. Our country will continue to get worse and worse and worse, and we will eventually fall and crumble. If we can't wisen up, it's going to be inevitable at some point down the line that the fall of our country will happen, in my opinion.